Hey, good afternoon. I'm here, Rich Bailin. My home is in Comac, Long Island. I'm here with my friend Shiv, who I know since high school, and he came out to see me today. I'm going to do a little bit of a video here. We're going to start off here. I'm in my garage, and over here I have 6 pairs of birds that now I'm just going to start putting my birds together for breeding next week. So these are some of the pairs that I have going to breed.
And Richie here specializes with flying flights.
So we'll head back here.
All right.
These are all my breeding stuff here, all my
So this is
that I've had for 50 years.
wow. So these
Yeah.
bulls are 50 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've been at it what?
64 years I've had pigeons.
64 years.
Yep.
So Richie is definitely one of the best I know out on the East Coast. The best I know with the flights. And you still selling your birds or no?
I rehome them. I'm trying. My goal today is to mentor the younger guys that are coming into the club. I've won a ton of shows in my lifetime, and I never get tired of winning. But I love to show the new guys, you know, the better points of breeding. I don't care whether it's a tippler or a flight or a ball head. I think that the hobby does better when guys enjoy it and they're breeding nice pigeons.
All right.
Feed is expensive.
It is. It's gone up.
My father always said it's better to keep it costs the same to keep a good one as it does a bad one.
Okay.
So we're gonna head back here.
Yep. Guys, gonna check out his main loft. There you have his loft right there, just as I remember it. Beautiful space here to fly too. Check this out. Not too many trees. Well, no trees in his yard, just his neighbors really.
Yep.
It gives you a nice view of the birds in the air.
Trees here that I have left.
Oh yeah, the
That's
pine
on my
trees.
property
That's it.
too, but
Yeah.
the fence had to be bumped. That's it. That's all that's left here. There's not many birds in the screen because the hawk must have been around here before. We just did all this tile work.
It looks so nice. It looks much bigger than what I remember. Did you change anything in the back?
Well, yeah, I made the gardens a little bit different over here too. Probably the next thing to go is this wood fence is going to be out of here. We're going to put the vinyl here, and that's the last thing.
Great.
No, I had the coop painted. My cousin painted because I couldn't stand on a ladder this year.
So can you tell us the dimensions of your loft and the setup?
16 foot by 8. Well, at the height it's probably about 8.5, but I have it bumped down. I have a false ceiling in there. So it's only about 6.5 feet high, so the birds don't fly over my head.
And you guys are going to see some really nice birds. Some really beautiful flights. I don't know if it's going to pick up with the glare, but we'll go inside and get a better look.
Here's one of my best. This one here is one of my best. No, she was there. She was one of my grand champions from. She's 12 years old also. I didn't get a chance to clean it today, so but these are my flyers in here.
This flying section, wow. See some eggs.
Yeah, I don't breed out of them. These are all my hen birds in here.
It's a really nice setup. Very simple.
Yep.
All right. And then the breeders are all the way in the far back?
Those are all the cock birds that are all separated. These are all hen birds.
Okay. So we got the hens in the front and cocks in the back.
Yep.
Okay.
They're all ready. Next week I'll have all my nest fronts on here, and over there, and over there, and I'll have my 30 pairs.
Wow.
You can step in there.
Yeah. Really nice.
64, almost 65 years. Started when I was a little over 4 years old. I had my first coop on top of the Doghouse in North Massapequa, and I had 4 birds flying out of there that used to fly with my father's homers.
Okay. And can you tell us about your like first encounter with a pigeon? You know, I guess the first time you saw a pigeon, do you remember? Or
Well, I was kind of like born into it. My dad, my father, when I was a little kid, my father had a small coop of flying booties up until about 1960, and then he wanted to race homers. And I immediately loved sitting on his lap watching those booties fly. They were all beautiful white ones, and they would go up. They'd fly 2-3 hours, and I'd sit on my father's lap or lay down in the chase lounge. And I just had an attraction to them as a little kid.
flying flights and you have tipplers. Are those the only 2 breeds that you're keeping right now?
That's all I have. Yep.
That's all he has. Okay.
I've had flying flights now since 1984.
How many birds would you say you have total right
I
now?
have about 90, between 95 and 100.
95 to 100.
Yep.
Okay.
That's with my flyers and breeders.
Okay. And what's your favorite breed of pigeon?
Well,
I want to say flights, but
I love the flying flights, but I really, years ago, I had some beautiful short-faced tipplers, tumblers, whatever you want to call them, and I love them too. I'm an avid pigeon lover. I can find beauty in almost all types of pigeons, Viennas, Stetners, whatever it is. I mean, there's some new breeds out there today that are absolutely gorgeous that I never saw before. So I guess you're never too old to learn.
all right. And then with flying flights, are there any competitions or tournaments or anything?
Well, the Mid-Island Flight Club is solely shows flying flights solely. Years ago, that we used to show flying ball heads in there too, but nobody seems to be showing those anymore. But the Nassau-Suffolk Club, which I belong to now, I was a junior member of the Nassau-Suffolk Club back in 1968, and then I dropped out and I went back to flying birds again, not showing, until about 1985. So I rejoined the Nassau-Suffolk Club a few years ago, which I'm now the corresponding secretary, and I keep all the minutes and stuff, and I help grow with the show results.
You know, how much time and money do you say goes into training?
Training the birds?
Yeah, training or showing the birds since you show.
It's for me. It's basically minimal. I mean, the shows, each bird costs $2 or $3 to show in a show, and we really don't do it for money. We do it for the love of the bird. You know, here and there, I'll sell some birds, rehome. I'll help some new guys out. It's a hobby. It's not a business.
I know you got a lot of beautiful birds, but what does a champion bird to you look like? Like, could you pull one out and bring one out to show us?
I have one in the garage. That's a grand champion.
Okay.
I also have a solid done flight here that won for me 5 times. If you'd like, but I'll show you the grand champion in the garage.
Okay, we'll take a look at that later.
Yep.
When it comes to training like your young birds, how do you go about training young birds? Because I know there's a lot of people getting into the hobby and they're kind of curious or they want to know how to stick the birds. So like, what is your approach?
I handle my birds from the time they're babies. From the time they're in their nest bowls, I immediately handle them. I want them to know who I am, or because I'm also a judge. So for me as a judge, a wild pigeon is not conducive to winning a show. We call them climbers, birds that climb on top of the cages and stuff when you're showing them. They need to perform. They need to be. They love to strut. And if they're calm, if you're handling them as babies, when it comes showtime, they'll perform for you.
When you're flying them here, how do you train your young birds? Like, what do you do once they hatch? What's your process to keep them to stay?
My process here is very easy. I only have one section to fly, this end section here.
Yeah.
And I usually have anywhere between, as the winter ends, between 30 and 35 old birds. And then I start moving the young ones in to fly, to be with them. So what I do is I fly my old birds first.
Yeah.
I let them out for their flight. And then when they come down, I open up the doors and I let the young ones come out and just walk around and slap around for the first week or so. And then ever so slightly for the next couple of weeks, I poke them off a little bit, I want them to know they have to land here. They can't land over there, they can't land over there. They have to land on my coop or they don't stay here. So for the next couple of weeks, they make 5 swing, 10 swings, and they hit the coop. I want them to know exactly what they have to do. And I've never had a problem in the 17 years that I'm here.
Okay. And as far as like a trap goes, I see you have a trap there. Is that just wide open, or is there a bobs there? Like, is it?
Yep.
So do you also trap train the young birds?
Yes.
Right here.
Buck wires here.
Yep.
Yep.
So that's how it. So when I had rollers, I would put the babies on the cage,
Right.
sit them on top. But because you have a large, fly pen or aviary out here, you don't have to
Right,
pull
they
them
stay-
out.
no.
They stay out here.
Yep.
And then when it's time to go in, I guess they just watch the old birds and they just kind of figure it out.
Nope. They figure it out because I tell them when to go in. I keep them hungry.
Yeah.
So when I shake the food can, they know that it's time to go in.
Uh-huh.
It's time to eat.
Okay.
They're not dead starved, but they're hungry because they only eat once a day. And I really, there's always a couple of nuisances that, like to stay out, but they learn.
What are the laws regarding like keeping pigeons?
In our town of Huntington, we can keep pigeons. You have to go down to the town and let them know the size of your loft. Your loft has to be 10 foot away from the property line on either side, from the side and the back.
And is there like a restriction on how many birds you can keep or anything like that?
It's supposed to be 1 foot per square, 1 bird per square foot. As it gets warmer, as the days get longer now, I'll fly them in the morning, and I'll fly them in the afternoon, 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Can you just kind of give us a brief description or characteristic of how the flying flights fly?
Well, the flying flights that they had in the city years ago were big bundles. Guys, like when my father was a kid, guys had 200-300 birds, so they flew in a funnel. They would go up high, they turn fast, and they would funnel down. It looked like a big funnel coming down out of the sky. Here, my birds, because they're in a yard and I don't fly, I fly anywhere no more than 60 to 65 when there's the babies and the old birds. They kind of fly in circles, and the only time they really get tight and twist like that is when there's a hawk or a predator around.
And they'll fly for how many hours for you?
My birds will fly anywhere in a normal fly like today. They flew about an hour and 15 minutes. And sometimes when they get a little pep under them, or they know that the falcon or the hawk's around, they'll go 2-3 hours with no problem.
When it comes to breeding, how do you go about selecting your breeders?
I look for the best quality in them. And as I'm getting older, I want to take care of less birds, so I try to be very concise as what birds I want to breed out of.
So how many pairs of breeders is optimal for you?
I can handle 30 pairs of breeders with no problem.
Wow.
Because I have a lot of colors.
Yeah.
A lot of guys today don't specialize in certain colors. I have a lot of colors.
Wow.
I love them.
When it comes to breeding, how do you go about pairing up your birds? It's just based on colors once again, or body structure?
Colors. It's based on conformation of the bird. Especially with the flying flights, the head, the beak. You try to complement the male to the female. I like to mate a darker marked bird to a lighter marked bird. My uncle was a master breeder of show flights, Alex Rawson, and he taught me many, many years ago that mating a darker bird to a lighter bird, you get a better consistency.
So Richie's gonna show us exactly what he looks for in his birds when it comes to breeding or pairing. But wow, you guys have to see the colors on some of these birds. It's just beautiful. Look at this bird right here.
So here we have a yellow tiger. Bird's got great color.
Yeah.
It needs a little bit more color in these feathers, secondary feathers here, but I'm putting it on a solid yellow. Bird's got great marking.
Yeah. Very nice.
right through the tail.
And this is
Yellow tiger flight.
a hen or a...
This is a hen. Yep.
Yeah, look at that. Wow. Beautiful.
You're looking for markings. I like the birds when they're marked through the chest.
Uh-huh.
Too much white, I'm not crazy about. Like, that's one from last year. She's got too much white, so she's a flyer.
So this one right here.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's very similar with the cocks, the same thing?
Yep, same thing. Again, this is a different color. This is a dun tiger.
Really nice.
Nice dark brown color. The color goes right through the tail. Right through the tail. It doesn't lose anything going down towards the bottom. Again, it's got marking all the way through the chest.
Mm-hmm.
This bird's going on a little bit darker marked bird. This is a young one from last year.
Nice. So for someone that's like new, you know, like I mean, I consider myself new too. I only had birds for about like a year. Could you just kind of give us a breakdown of like the colors and like what you would call them? Like maybe just going down the list here.
There's a black.
So this is a black.
There's a dun. This is a silver dun.
Silver dun, okay.
This is also a black. There's a dun beard.
Yep. Okay.
We have a blue bar.
Blue bar down there, yep.
Silver dun hen. Black tiger hen. That black tiger hen actually raised a winner for the guy Tony in my National Suffolk Club.
Black tiger hen is the one with the...
Right there.
This one, the walking,
Yep.
right?
Yep. That actually raised him a winner.
Really nice.
Now she's back on my flying team. Here's an Isabella Tippler. This is a mated pair, the blue and the Isabella.
Oh, these are the tipplers right here,
Yep.
right? Yep, right there.
These are all from Joe Rossi. This is one of the first ones I raised when I started with the Tipplers 5 years ago. These two also, brother and sister. The two prints.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, they're smart.
And I would say what? Most of your flights have the white flights?
Oh yeah, yep. They all
Okay.
have white flights.
Okay.
These are all birds here that are so-called not show quality standard for me.
So that's why you fly
But for
them.
flying, they're great. Like this
Gotcha.
bird here. Come on, no, she's scooted there. But well, this. I'm not as fast as I used to
Yeah,
be.
don't hurt yourself.
But the birds, they're lacking something.
Okay.
Whether it's a short tip or it's just got a roundish head, whatever it is, they're fly. I keep enough for breeding. I don't like to load myself up with a ton of breeders anymore.
Okay.
Plus, feed's expensive.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
bag of feed used to be $15 a bag. Now it's $35 a bag.
Wow.
But you know. This was a silver dun hen that I bred a couple of years ago. She's got the amount of tips and stuff. But her head's a little round. I have better than her.
I see.
So she stayed as a flyer.
I see.
And she's a great flyer.
Okay. Great.
You can't keep them all. That's the other thing.
Yep.
So she became a flyer instead of a breeder.
So was she a showbird originally?
Originally, I was going to use her to show, but what happened was as she got older,
Yeah.
she molted out too much. There's too much white.
Uh-huh.
I mean, she comes out of my showbirds, but
Uh-huh.
see,
I
she's got
see.
too much white in here in the
I see.
secondaries.
So what, do a lot of like judges not like that? Like
It's part of the it's points.
it's points.
It's
okay.
points when you each feather that's off is a quarter of a point.
Oh wow.
And when you start losing 6, 8, 10, 12 feathers at a quarter of a point,
Yeah,
you're
it's
losing a
up.
lot of points. Come down to versus a bird that doesn't lose any points or loses very little.
I see. And what are the size of your breeding boxes?
They're 12 inches. I'm pretty sure they're 12 or no, they're 15 inches. 12
15.
inches high, and whatever the shelving board is deep.
Okay.
Well, same sizes as these.
Yeah. Okay. And you pretty much know every single bird in here, right? I mean,
Yep.
yeah.
That yellow over here is the grandmother to Joe Nazario, Best in Show winner.
Which one is that?
Joe Nazario
Oh, that one right
won
there.
a show this year. That's the grandmother.
Okay. When it comes to loft hygiene, you know, what do you believe in? Do you believe in, like, you know, keeping the loft very clean, or does that, you know?
I'm constantly trying to keep up on it. Unfortunately, the last 2 months, I had spinal surgery, so my wife actually was taking care of the birds every single day and cleaning the coop twice a week. And I can't say enough about it because she was phenomenal. You know, I didn't think she would go in. I didn't even ask her to clean, but she did. She's fantastic.
How often were you cleaning your loft when you were?
Every other day.
Every other day?
I have a litter in the two sections, in the two breeder sections. I use a litter on the floor, which I've used for over 40 years. I use cat litter. I get Tidy Cat from Walmart. It's like, I don't know, it's like $5 a bag. So I constantly, you know, I rake it a few times a week, and then I add to it. Every couple of weeks I add a little bit more and more. And that's it. That's what I've used. It keeps away the dampness, makes everything nice and dry, and the content of it says it's 99%, you know, dust free.
When it comes to pros and cons, what do you like about the hobby and what do you dislike about the hobby?
The one thing I dislike about the hobby is when I see guys doing it for money. And I don't mean racing pigeons. I've raced pigeons for 29 years and won a lot of money over those years. But I'm talking about guys selling pigeons for birds that are, I don't know. I was more, I'll sell birds, but I'm very, very easy when it comes to price. They're pigeons. You're trying to keep the hobby going. You're not trying to break the bank on somebody. Mm-hmm. My father always taught me that it's not about the money. It's about the birds and the hobby.
Now, do you have any goals as far as, you know, long-term, short-term at this point with your birds, or?
I was the first master breeder of flying flights. My partner and I, Joe Campione, back in 2010.
Wow.
We became the first master breeder of flying flights in the country, which I'm very proud of. It was a goal of ours, but I like to keep going forward. Those birds that won in 2010, they wouldn't win today.
Oh, wow.
Constantly looking to go towards a standard.
Wow.
The standard is, if you reach the standard, you have to change the standard to make it even more difficult. And it's very, very, very difficult to get to that standard.
So what was, like, the criteria for the master breeder? Like, what did you...
Points.
Oh, okay.
Most master breeder points in most of the clubs is 100. We had 300.
Wow.
And we were lucky enough to do it in less than 2 years.
Wow.
Because I breed a lot, my partner and I breed a lot of colors, and we did very well.
And these points are acquired through the shows, right?
Shows only.
And then, so if you were to win, how many points do you get? How does that work?
In a class of birds, it would be 3 points. It would be 3 points for a first, 2 points for a second,
Oh,
1
wow.
point for a third.
Wow. So, yeah, so it takes some time. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. All right, so we're back inside the garage. These are all of his nest fronts here. I'll go in. Very simple, right? Simple design.
Oh, yeah.
What does this paper say?
Has the pairs on it, so
okay.
I know. Very easy.
Yeah, yeah. Nice.
So,
And then what? There's tabs on the sides that kind of...
I have turnkeys.
Yeah, okay. Okay, turnkeys to lock them in. Yeah, what do you feed your bird, and you know, what do you have? Where do you keep it?
Right here. Everything is in plastic, and I use a garbage pan liner.
Yeah.
This feed here is it's a Bailin, Vinny's Superior with popcorn.
And you feed this all year round?
All year round. I don't change feeds ever.
All year round, regardless of breeding or not breeding, right? Everyone gets the same thing.
I never change feed.
Okay.
I give them a little bit of candy every couple of days. I give them I give them some pigeon candy after they eat.
Yeah, what does this look like?
Birds love that. I give them their grit, and I mix it with. They love minerals. They love when I mix the grit with the minerals. I break it up and I put it into the grit.
Yeah.
Hey,
Oh, and here's Rich's wife.
it's my loft manager.
Yeah. And then when it comes to like vitamins and things like that, what are you giving your birds like in the water?
I give them. This is vitamins with electrolytes.
Yeah.
And I mix that. I give this to them every morning, and every other day I mix it with a probiotic, and that's it. I give them every 4 days a week. I mix when I give them water in the afternoon to feed them. I'll give them elderberry with apple cider vinegar, and I've known for the last 13 years. I have not lost a bird to adenovirus, and I've had adenovirus 5 times in 13 years.
You want to go take a look at those breeders that we were talking about earlier?
See, she's got these beautiful dun bars all the way through.
Yeah.
She lacks a little bit right there, but she handles beautiful. She never quivers in your hand. Judges love her. She's getting old now. She's 6 years old. But
6 years old.
All of these birds are all related.
Oh, wow.
Actually, this is her half brother that she's mated on. Same father, different mother. That's her sister.
This cage, is this like a new setup? But didn't you have the other ones before? The longer
Heavy ones. The real heavy ones.
Yeah.
Darren Lechner, who now lives in Kansas City, South Carolina, he picked these up and he took the old ones. And these here are great because it's on wheels. I can pull it out and wash it.
Okay.
And these things come out here.
The dividers.
They're awesome. It's easy to take care of. I just sent the guy birds from New Orleans. They were in here for a couple of weeks.
So when they're in here, they breed in here too?
No.
This is just pairing?
These will all go back in the coop in a little while.
It's just for pairing only?
Just for pairing only. I do not breed in here.
What is the pairing process, and when do you start putting your birds together to pair?
I usually put them together sometime towards the end of March. I'm going to try to get them together next week if the weather's nice. And I try to, last year I only bred one round. I bred 80 birds at one shot, and I was all done, and I had a great year.
So I know a lot of guys go by the Valentine's Day thing. Do you follow that too?
Nope.
No.
Never did. Even when I flew homes.
Okay.
I didn't go in until the end of February.
End of February.
Yeah.
Because I've heard some guys even argue that they breed all year round, and it's
You got to give the birds a break.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Or the guys that breed in the winter, they find that winter is easier because I guess there's less flies.
My thing is, what do you do with the young ones? I'm a flyer, so if I breed young ones in January and February, what am I going to do with them? I can't let them out now. No. The hawks will eat them up. I don't have enough time to train them and let them settle. Because as soon as you put them out on the board, you know something's going to happen. Because my old birds, when they fly, they go right in immediately. Mm-hmm. They don't want to hang out. They know. Mm-hmm. I just feel like as the weather gets warmer, they mate easier. And, during the winter time, I have time to jerk around with them and mate them up, split them up, split pairs up if I don't like them before I really get into breeding. As a matter of fact, that pair, I had this one, right. These two pairs I broke up to that. Just for the sake of, I like the way that cock looked with that hen. That's a winning pigeon for me too, that black tiga.
In the front, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
See, she's more marked. He's darker marked bird. She's a lighter marked bird. Same thing here. This is a lighter marked bird to a darker marked bird.
So you like to go do the dark and the light
I like
together?
Dark and light. Yep.
And what will that throw out?
That pair should throw out black tigers, but hopefully they'll come out really marked nice. You don't know. That's the fun of the sport.
These are considered models, right?
These are models,
yeah. Okay.
Now the beards are still considered tigers.
Yeah.
They're just bad tigers.
So what exactly is a tiger, though, then? What does that mean?
The tiger, the language comes down, it's German for tiger. This modeling is called tiger. Now, even though this hen is a beard, She's still considered a tiger because she has white. She's not a solid. She has white. And as far as I'm concerned, a beard is just a bad marked tiger. This bird won in the Miss Mark class 2018. She won the Miss Mark class 3 times.
There's a Miss Mark class too?
Oh yeah, sure. Yep.
Oh wow.
Yep. This bird won Miss Mark 3 times. She won, and she's a half sister to the Duntiga here. She is the sister to the Blackbeard also. Mm-hmm. See, I believe in breeding family. So breeding family is very, very important.
So the phrase tiger that you're saying goes back to tiger pattern?
Tiger, yes.
So is that used for any pigeon breed? Because you don't really hear people talking with tipplers calling anything tigers.
They call them models.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, that's what
Because what we call a model bird. Like the Dun Tiger is modeled really well. They don't say tiger. We say modeled. But the bird is a black tiger. Like I think this hen here. This is a young hen. So she's modeled here.
Yeah.
She's lacking a little bit here and here, but she's on a solid, she's on a beard. She has great color, good color roll through the tail.
And they're very calm in your hand, like you were saying.
Because if you handle them as babies.
Very nice. Judges look into that too, like that. There's points for that, for handling.
Birds, as a judge, when you're judging a bird, like she's fantastic in the cage, this Duntiga. So when I put my hand down, she's not running away from me. A bird that's wild in the cage, it's got to perform like a show dog.
Okay. Oh, yes, that makes sense.
If you got a show dog and you're walking across the stage in front of the judge and the dog sits down and starts scratching itself,
yeah, or starts jerking around and going this way, that way. Okay, that makes sense.
In the show cage and you try to calm them down a little bit, but most times they don't calm down. Birds like this, you can't miss with. She has a personality over all of her own, and nothing different. That's same family. She's the same way. She performs. They stand up. They pull themselves in. Even though she's made it to that cock, she still knows me. See? That's what you want from a showbird. You want a showbird to perform, to put their wings in and strut back.
Is there anything else you would like to add, or I think we covered a lot?
I think we covered a great deal amount. I want to thank you again.
Yep.
And you're welcome to come back anytime that you're
Awesome.
in the area.
Definitely.
On a nice sunny day.
We'll have the birds out and do some more filming. And one last thing I want is for you to tell us about your club.
Nassau Suffolk Club's been around since 1956. It was started by guys out in Brentwood and Islip. I've been a member there since 1968. Then I left and I came back a few years ago. Presently, right now, we have 78 members in the club as of today.
Including Anthony, right?
Including Anthony. Which is good to see a couple of the young guys come into the game.
And Anthony lives in Jersey, he makes the commute out here, right? To the once a month, right? It is? Yeah.
First Wednesday of every month. Dues for the club is $25 a year.
Oh,
if you're a senior over 65, it's $13. And if you're over 80 years old, which we have about a half a dozen members in the club, there's no membership fee. You are a free member. And it's really, we have a lot of fun in the club. I find that it's a great combination of people. Everybody's there to help, setting up for the shows, breaking down for the shows. John Nelson, who just stepped down as our president after 9 years, we were blessed to have him. He was phenomenal.
What are some of the benefits of joining a club like this?
Actually, it's the people. The people make the club because everybody has such a great time and everybody shares the work. It's easy. Many hands make light work, and we have people in the club that they show up early to set up. They don't leave until it's broken down. Everything is spotless when we leave. Everybody has a good time. We have food at all our shows. Ro Berichevsky does a phenomenal job doing that. She's been the show secretary for years. And, she's breaking in somebody as a new show secretary now, because, you know, hey, she's been doing it a long time. Her husband Eddie is now the president of the club. I think this is his second time being president. So getting guys like Anthony and a few other guys that are younger, they're the future of our club. They're the future of the sport. It's all about the sport. It's not about the money. It's about enjoying the sport. Meeting people. Like we met, 15, 16, 20 years ago. And I still see you, and I still talk to you, and we have a lot of fun, even though it's on Facebook.
Yep.
And it's all about enjoying. I wake up in the morning, and I just enjoy going out and flying the birds and looking at them. And it's fun to see what your offspring is going to be. You're excited about what you're going to breed.